Oh, because the Whitey Show, the Whitey Show, the Whitey Show.
Whitey Show.
The Whitey Show, the Whitey Show.
Whitey Show.
I'm the review who loves to say son of a bitch. The same review who hates most Nintendo shit. I'm the one who calls games what they are. I even own the 360 and hate Gears of War. Guy who spends his money on games, fucking cards. Just a funny guy who became a YouTube star.
Well, I played a demo of UFC, and by all means, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So, I was expecting something like a fight night situation where I don't really watch boxing, like I don't watch UFC, but I actually enjoyed Fight Night a lot. I had a lot of fun just beating the shit out of people. So with UFC, I figured, oh, this can be the same way. So I went to pick up UFC, despite me only playing the demo for about 5 minutes, because that's how I like to play demos. Well, the situation's hard to describe, so watch the rest of the review to find out what I think of UFC Undisputed 2009. Well, this is a fighter, so story isn't that important, but there are some good factors and some bad ones. Well, there's a career mode, which is basically story mode. You go through the guy's whole career that you created. It's pretty cool and fun to do. Also, you have your character kind of grows due to the training, kind of like Fight Night where you train your stats. Sorry I'm comparing Fight Night and this so much, but they seem very similar in some ways. So anyway, you grow in stats, which is cool and brings more to the character's growth, like you're actually training him. What I really would have liked, though, is some cinemas. I know this isn't wrestling, but, you know, something to get me into fighting the next guy. And really, there's no attachment to your character. Basically, he's like a vessel, and you're just playing through career mode. I didn't really, you know, maybe if I was a UFC fan, I would know the characters more who I'm fighting and probably want to punch them or not punch them since they're either my least favorite fighter or not. Point is that you don't really have any attachment if you're not a UFC fan. Well, the graphics in this game. Let me just say that the blood effects and the sweat effects look fucking amazing. Put it that way. When you punch someone and you see blood and sweat actually hit the mat and you see it on the mat, you know we finally upgraded in terms of graphics for these kind of games. It looks amazing. Not only that, but also the character models look very good in the game. No complaints there. And some nice looking moves to top it all off. I mean, some of the submissions are absolutely kick-ass. Sadly, there's some ugly environments and slightly stiff movements, but nothing to go crazy about. So overall, this game looks very, very good. This is where UFC kind of fucks it up for me. There's 3 different fighting styles in this game, like the main fighting styles. There's boxing, kickboxing, and basically like a submission kind of style. I'm sorry I don't know all of them because I'm not really a big UFC fan, but I do remember the 3 styles, and I've tried them all, and I have to say there are some differences obviously, but overall the fighting is actually very similar. There's a lot of moves to pull off, but really in the end most of them are just like annoying to actually do, because a lot of them rely on the right stick, and the right stick isn't the greatest thing to rely on. I mean, they did it in boxing, but boxing is easier because it's basically used on the punch. In this game, you're using X and Y to punch and A and B, but the stick just feels out of place when you're doing these moves. But getting back to the good, there's this level up thing. As I said before, your character grows. It's a level up stats, basically like Fight Night, and I think that's a great factor. It brings this character's growth like he's actually, I don't know, leveling up, like you're training a Pokemon or something. It's cool. It's a cool thing to put in. And I do, like I mentioned, you can mix 2 fighting, such as like boxing and wrestling and so on. And I think it's a cool, you know, add on to the game. Like I said before, though, I think it's overcomplicated it with the moves, like to do all these different clinches and all this shit and grabs. It's a pain in the ass. I'd rather just punch in the end, like just keep punching them in the face until they bleed and fucking die on the floor. It's just overcomplicated. I don't know if you know what I mean, but I'm sure UFC fans will be very happy with it because they actually more moves than any wrestling game I played, and that's just kind of sad in some ways. But anyway, what I really say that the 2 major things that kind of fucked with me is, I mean, the one major thing is the AI feels the same in every match. They do the same thing every match. No matter what style they have, they do the same thing. They don't run at you. They're not aggressive. I mean, I put this on very hard mode and they kicked my ass. Yes. But on any other mode, They basically just stand there half the time. They punch a lot. You know, they punch, but basically all you have to do is block and then punch them. Block, punch them. It's real simple. The AI really never changes or tries to do different moves, and to me that's just weak programming for the AI, so they got to fix that up. But overall, it's just the gameplay didn't really grasp me like Fight Night or other fighting games, though it is better than any wrestling game I played 3D wise, so I guess it's there. But again, I hate to say it, but UFC fans will probably enjoy this way more than me, because I am not a UFC fan. I could not get into the gameplay, and really it's just not grasping me like it should.
Declaring the winner by knockout, the Doctor!
Doctor dominates and earns the victory.
So at this point in time, you're probably wondering, well, why did you pick it up if you're not a UFC fan? Well, I wasn't a boxing fan either. I'm not really a wrestling fan either, but I still play them. I still give them a try. Wrestling games just turn out to be fucking garbage 95% of the time. And the boxing game I actually liked a lot. So I picked up UFC because I did enjoy the demo, but I think I should have gave it a few more matches to realize that it's not really my thing. But for enjoyment, for people that love UFC or like it, you'll probably love this game. It feels very much like UFC. I've only watched UFC a few times. It's not really my thing, but a lot of people that do like it, they'll probably love it. You have online mode, you have career mode, you have creative fighter, and some other stuff like expedition and so on. So that's great. I mean, they add a lot of shit in there for you. For a first game, they're not like, you know, pulling a lot of shit out for the next sequel to make more money off of you guys. They're putting work in, you know what I'm saying? Sadly, the career mode is pretty short. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours. And if you skip sparring, it's about 4 hours if I remember correctly. And non-fans of UFC, you might not like it like me. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying it's a good game. It's fun to play. It's just not, you know, like, whoa, this game is fucking awesome, a must buy. It's just not there yet. So overall, if you're a UFC fan, pick this up. If you're not, I would advise renting it or stealing from a friend. But just, you know, play the demo a few more times to see if you really want this game.
From the top here, just standing right over him, pounding his face in.